Are you a BTS lover? How are you today, not a member of BTS? Who is this person who is so close to Jungkook? There is nothing more painful for the millions of soldiers around the world than realizing that maybe there has always been one person who knows Jungkook better than the BTS members themselves. Not Taehyung, not Jimin, not RM, not even the producer who is always behind the scenes. Then who? Who is the person who is now said to have exclusive access to Jungkook's private life even more than the army that has been waiting for his every move 24/7, a voice recording leaked. Jungkook's voice, however full of emotion, is heard saying, "You know me more than anyone," even before the world knew who Jungkook was. Those words are not for BTS members. Not for his mother. Not for his old friend in Busan. But for someone who's never been on screen. Someone whose name is only heard in whispers behind the magnificent concerts and boisterous red carpet world, when everyone was busy guessing who Jungkook's first love was, who was the member closest to him, who was the person he was training with in the middle of the night, who knew the location of his new home that HYBE was desperately hiding. No one expected, the person closest to Jungkook was not an idol. Not even a celebrity. This figure appeared like a shadow, always behind, but had an astonishing influence on Jungkook's life. A man who keeps so many secrets that have never been opened to the public. One whose name is never even in the credits of Jungkook's songs. But it was he who became the first place Jungkook ran when the world hit him with hatred and unfounded rumors that is this the scandal that HYBE has been covering up all this time? Is this the person who makes Jungkook smile behind the camera when he is struggling with the pressures of life as a global superstar? The question was further raised when a candid photo of Jungkook with someone leaked to the media. They were caught on camera laughing out loud at a private training ground. Without stylists. Without bodyguards. Just the two of them, like inseparable old friends, and when the army stormed the internet to find out who this person was, they found something surprising. Apparently, this figure is not new. He once appeared in an old video of Jungkook as a trainee, chuckling in the background, holding a water bottle, and giving Jungkook a brief high five before the camera switched. From that moment on, he disappeared. Names are never mentioned. The face never appeared again. Until now, when all the mysteries finally burst to the surface, this person's name suddenly got into the trending list on Twitter. Army split in two. Some believe this figure is the key to Jungkook's mental calm. There are also those who accuse him of being a dangerous shadow that HYBE deliberately hides in order to maintain the image of her idol. Some are convinced that this person is not just a friend, but perhaps, the only person who ever made Jungkook want to stop being Jungkook. If it wasn't for him, I might have quit since 2018, Jungkook said in a snippet of the interview that HYBE never officially released, but leaked to alternative media in Korea. Who is he, Jungkook, referring to? Who does he call home when the world seems too hard? We've traced this guy's digital footprint. We dived into old databases, matched photos, investigated locations, until we finally found something that could shake the foundations of BTS's own fandom. This figure is not a member, not a boyfriend, not a manager. But it has very private access, even beyond the limits that have been known to the public. Why did HYBE hide their closeness? What are you afraid of? At first, news of Jungkook's closeness to this mysterious figure was considered just a rumor. But when the camera of one of the foreign media captured a rare moment of Jungkook in a private studio in the Seoul area without a tight escort, without a crew, and in the company of only one person who was constantly with him, everything changed. Netizens began to ask, who is this person? Why is his face familiar, but nowhere to be found on the list of anyone who works for HYBE? Even South Korean media referred to him as Jungkook's shadow of trust. A source within HYBE, who chose not to be named, ended up leaking something very jarring. That guy was with Jungkook before he even entered Big Hit. They met when Jungkook was in a dance camp in junior high school. He's not just an old friend. but someone who witnessed the whole process of how Jungkook was shaped, destroyed, resurrected, and then shown. This sentence sounds like a deep poem. But in fact, this was the beginning of everything, the beginning of the unveiling of the most important figure in the life of an idol who was hailed by the world. That in previous interviews, Jungkook has been asked who he trusts the most outside of BTS members. At that moment he just smiled a little and said, "There is one person. But he doesn't like being exposed. She'd rather be the reason I still sing today." The statement simply passed in the eyes of the public. But now, the army is starting to realize that's the first clue. A small hint of a big secret that has been neatly stored behind camera lenses and concert posters. This figure, whose name is now sticking out as C, has no trace in the entertainment industry. No active social media. Don't have interviews, don't have a portfolio that can relate to the K-pop industry. But from the various internal information we get, C is known as the figure who mastered Jungkook's body language. He knew when Jungkook felt tired just from the way the idol was silent for a few seconds too long. He knew when Jungkook was stressed just from the position of his hand on his thigh. Moreover, C is said to be the only person allowed to enter Jungkook's private practice room in the middle of the night, without official permission from HYBE. Exclusive photos circulating show C holding a towel and a water bottle behind Jungkook as he rehearses a choreography that has never been released to the public. Then came a short video, only 7 seconds, where Jungkook can be seen running and hugging someone as soon as the exercise is over. The hug is not a formal hug, but an emotional hug. Like a child returning from the battlefield, hugging his home. And that person is C. Of course, the internet immediately divided into two camps. Some claim that C is Jungkook's secret partner. But not a few who mention C is his former training partner first, who for some reason did not debut, but still lives around Jungkook. Some hardline fans tried to trace the background of C, but found nothing. Even traces of the school disappeared. No digital prints. Even his social media accounts were allegedly only used for one-way personal communication with Jungkook, but what made the public even more upset was one sentence from Jungkook in the now-deleted V-Live session: "If I suddenly don't sing anymore, don't ask HYBE. Just ask him." The comment, which was initially considered a joke, is now the subject of fan analysis. Who is he, Jungkook, referring to? And why would Jungkook be so intent on appointing someone outside of BTS and HYBE as the pivot of his decision? There are other clues that are more disturbing.